The University of Exeter sponsors this session as part of our celebration of 20 years of the Experimental Archaeology Masters Programme. Feeling inspired? Do get in touch. Many of our staff research and teach using experiments. We encourage our students to present and publish. At this conference, 8 staff, 5 current PhD students and 10 current and recent master's students are all presenting papers. They're doing this alongside many of our former students who have continued to conduct their research in this field. The conference has proved to be a great way to see more of our global alumni. If you want to come and study with us for an MSc in Experimental Archaeology or any of our top postgraduate programmes, do get in touch. We also offer research degrees at master's and PhD level, which can be based in Exeter or at a distance. You will be joining a vibrant and active postgraduate community and become part of a world-leading research department.
Our understanding of ancient remains and the people who left them can be transformed by integrating archaeological methods, including experimental approaches, with digital technologies. At the University of Exeter, archaeological research is supported by the Digital Humanities Lab, a state-of-the-art facility that provides expertise, equipment, spaces, and training in a range of advanced technologies to support innovative research, teaching and outreach, as well as preservation of artefacts and historic collections. Using techniques such as photogrammetry, we can create virtual models which can be explored and displayed in 3D space, providing opportunities to investigate them in entirely new ways, as well as enabling remote access for teaching and collaborative research. Our 3D printers produce replica artefacts that can be used in practical experiments, or easily handled to provide a better understanding of the structure and materiality of the original object. We can investigate the details of artefacts and replicas using reflectance transformation imaging, which creates interactive digital images with a movable light source, providing insights into surface detail and texture, such as tool marks or flake scars, that can shine a light on how they were made and used. The possibilities of digital approaches are constantly expanding, and the lab continually explores and develops new techniques in areas such as multispectral imaging, virtual reality, and machine learning, opening up new ways of exploring and interpreting our shared past and preserving it for the future.
Hi, I'm Julia. I did the master's programme in 2019. I graduated in 2019. So I came to the master's from a background in early medieval studies, so I'd done some archaeology, some history and also some ancient literature studies. And I really did the programme to get a bit more hands-on and get some different perspectives on ancient material culture, on ancient cultures, and the archaeology that I was working on already. So I really wanted to get out the library a bit, to get a bit more just perspective on what life was really like in the past, because I found I was making a lot of assumptions and a lot of judgments about people based on these hypothetical ideas, from sitting in a library. And I really wanted to get out of the library and really develop my perspectives. And I think that the masters, it completely transformed my idea of what life in the past might have been like much more than I ever expected it to. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone to try lots of different technologies, explore so much more than I could possibly have imagined. I think the real highlight for me was getting to work with so many incredible people, both in the university, people on my course, people in the wider university, and also in the bigger experimental archaeology community as well. Making those connections with people with such incredible knowledge and skill, and getting to work with them on projects that I never thought I'd be able to work with them on. So yeah, it's transformed my research and my how I view archaeology in the past, and it's given me some amazing opportunities that I never thought I could have. Yeah, so I did my dissertation on Viking Age fake fur cloaks, and I'm actually giving a paper on those at this conference now, and I'll be talking about them as well at the Centre for Textile Research Conference in June. So that's really, really exciting for me, and I hope you'll join me for that as well. So at the moment I'm actually working at the Digital Humanities Lab at Exeter University, so looking at some of the digital approaches to archaeology, experimental archaeology and other humanities subjects. So that's kind of another angle on research and also accessibility and education, so really going hand in hand with experimental approaches. So that's another just really exciting thing that I've been able to do, having done the Masters at Exeter. So yeah, it's taken me to places that I never thought I'd go, and I'm really excited to see where it'll take me in the future.
Hi, my name's Dr. Laura Evis and I work here at the University of Exeter. I'm currently Director of Admissions here, but also the Director of the undergraduate degree in Archaeology with Forensic Science and the postgraduate programme in Bioarchaeology, Forensic Anthropology. Currently, my interests span archaeology, forensic science and experimentation. I use experiments regularly in my research, both when I'm doing archaeological projects and forensic projects, because my projects focus on problem solving. So an archaeological company or the police come in and ask me to solve an issue. So it can be related to taphonomy, so how long has this body been here? It can be related to reconstructing the sequence of events at a crime scene or an archaeological site. And much of my research has been oriented on this subject matter. For much of my research to date, I have looked at excavation and how it's used and testing it so it can be applied in a legal context in forensic casework. This also has relevance to archaeological practice too. My students also do a lot of experimental work, and nearly all of the dissertations that I supervise are experimentally based. To name some of the examples that have come through over the years, some students have looked at how bone degrades and is disposed of using a variety of chemicals. Others have looked at how human remains preserve in bog environments. 2 students have done that and set up experiments in order to investigate that phenomena. Others have done experiments looking at contact lenses and how they degrade using pig eyeballs as analogues. So experimentation is at the heart of everything I do generally in research and in practice. I published 2 works dedicated to experimental studies. The first is a book called Forensic Archaeology, the Application of Comparative Excavation Methods and Recording Systems, which examined how and tested how excavation methods and recording systems perform against each other using a simulated grave scenario. And the second work I published is in STAR, Science and Technology in Archaeological Research, which again was focused on experimentally testing excavation methods, but focused on 2 methods in that paper rather than the 4 focused on in the book.
Hello, I'm Janaka Herold. I am an early medieval archaeologist and I also do research on pottery, both in a scientific way and with experimental methods. I have mainly used experimental methods in my research to look into past economies, the production of pottery in various settings, from a local production to workshop production. In addition to that, in my research I have recently started a new area which also includes experiments, and in this I have a cooperation with Sue Heiser, who is, among other things, a glass beads specialist. We are looking into early medieval glass beads that were most likely produced in the Middle East and were imported in Europe, and the way how these the degree of difficulty that it takes to produce these glass beads is what Sue's research can help me decipher. And on the whole, the value of experimental archaeology to me, both in research and teaching, is to have a reality check on any kind of theories, any kind of conclusions that we often draw next to a desk without thinking of practical aspects, and these practical aspects come in through the use of experiments in archaeology.
Hi, my name is Teresa Emmerich Camper, and I come originally from the state of Wyoming in the United States. And I came over to the Experimental Archaeology program in Exeter after it was recommended to me by a colleague when I was doing an internship for the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. Now, I have a background in what's often referred to as prehistoric skills or primitive skills or survival skills, whatever you choose to call them. And those practical skills have absolutely been my obsession since I was a child. And I came to the experimental program looking for a way to contextualize those practical skills within an academic or scientific framework with an eye toward being able to publish some of my research. Now, I stayed on and did a PhD after the MA in prehistoric leather artifacts. I was looking for a way to identify tannage technologies in prehistory. And that has recently culminated in a book that is just here, Determining Prehistoric Skin Processing Technologies, and it's available from Sidestone Press.
Happy birthday to Experimental Archaeology at Exeter.